Holy shit, talk about train ride. That was a freaking locomotive. I mean, that thing just, well, what was really interesting at the beginning, it
Hmm.
actually sounded like they would they they would like performing the end of a song. Kind of came
Yeah,
crashing.
yeah. It did that sound
And
too.
it came crashing first, and then they
Yeah,
started like almost winding down. And I'm like, wait, what did I miss? And
right.
then they're like, oh, what the hell with it? And then he just went crazy, like boom. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Into the Music. My name is Greg, and that guy over there, he's Chris. Chris, how you doing tonight?
I'm good, man.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. So, what do you got for me tonight?
All right. I've got a song called "Last Train Out." It's by someone named Blues Saraceno.
Yeah, man. Wow. Totally don't know that band or that song. So,
Good. That's good, man.
don't you saying Last Train to Clarksville Monkeys, but that's not what we're talking about
It's just
tonight.
this is the
So,
last train out. They
Last
didn't
Train
say
Out.
what the destination was.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go back and then hopefully I'll get the last. There's one more train to come back and talk about this.
You don't always have to fit some clever thing in
There are
there.
some, sometimes you'll be
Sometimes it
surprised.
works out
You'll
well.
be surprised how there are times where I don't say anything, but
I
which is
just don't.
rare.
That's just not
It's
nothing. None
rare.
of those
It's rare.
keep coming to mind right now.
All right.
I was messing
What?
with you,
I'm
man.
not catching the last train back. I'm just getting the hell out of there.
Yeah,
I
just
ain't coming back.
get the hell out of here and go listen to the song, and
That's
you
it.
will be happy.
I hope so. All right. I'll let you know.
All right.
I'm bringing back. I should have brought back to the beginning. I mean, this is so cool. Right out of the gate. But what was really interesting in the beginning, it actually sounded like the song was wrapping up. Like it was kind of like came out really like strong, and then it almost like it kind of wrapped up, and then it started like. Anyway, this is energetic, man. Those drums, though. Love that bass. Nah, 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 nah. Too short, too short. I'm bringing it back like here, another minute or so. And what was really, really cool is that, I mean, the guitarist is, I mean, I got to find out from Chris. I got to get a name. Um, but the bass player was also like matching him toe to toe. Guitarist is doing a riff, and then the bass player is coming up with a riff. In the meantime, the drums, it's so good. But let me come back here. I think that's where they were kind of the bass player, guitarist were dueling, really dueling it out. And let me take it out. That was hot, man. That was just absolutely scorching hot. um, yeah, that was fun. That was really fun. Let's talk with Chris about this one. All right, I caught that train back. All right, so we milked that one. I milked that one. All right, that said,
Was
I'm
it the
back.
last train in?
I'm back. Yeah,
Okay.
last train in, and holy shit, that was talk about train ride. That was a freaking locomotive. I mean, that thing just well, what was really interesting at the beginning, it
Hmm.
actually sounded like they would they they would like performing the end of a song. Kind of came
Yeah,
crashing.
yeah. Did that sound to
And
it?
it came crashing first, and then they
Yeah.
started like almost winding down. And I'm like, wait, what did I miss? And
Right.
then they're like, oh, what the hell with it? And then they just went crazy. Like boom, it just took off. And the guitar, I mean, pick your instrument. The electric guitar that was changing sounds. As the song was going on. I mean, you had this hard rock sound, and then it was going to and I'm just talking about the guitar because I know all the other instruments too, right?
Hmm.
But he was just the sound, the tone of the guitar. Was definitely matching every each kind of
Yeah,
sound.
it was tight. Yeah.
Different
Yeah.
kind of like musical genre sound like that. Then it went to like then I think went to like a jazz kind of fusion, and then it went to
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then it went to like a real jazz, and then
Sure.
they
Sure.
threw more rock, and then they just went crazy. So that
Yeah.
was like the guitarist and the tone of his guitar. But of course, we got to talk about the bass player,
Yeah.
and we got to talk about the drummer. That they would just. I mean, is it a three-piece ensemble? Don't tell me because I still want to get a little into music. But is it three guys or is it more than three guys?
Let me see. Um, well, on this particular song, I couldn't
Yeah,
find that much on this particular song, but let me just get into a couple of things before we talk further.
yeah.
Blue Saraceno, that's his actual name, apparently. Yeah.
The guy playing the electric
The
guitar.
guy playing the guitar, and on this one, okay, so is Blue Saraceno. He's a real virtuoso. Okay, played
Yeah.
with a lot of other musicians on their albums,
Okay.
um, and he um, he plays bass too. So I believe he played the bass on that track also.
Oh
Now,
wow.
what I'm wondering is that bass had the sound of a stand-up bass, didn't it? An acoustic bass. I'm not sure if that's the case, but it definitely had that sound to it.
What if I said yes and no? I thought that there was some
You
parts
can
of the
say yes
song
or no.
that had that traditional bass sound,
But
especially
when it
when
got
they
into the jazz stuff, at least.
the yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Especially
yes, where it
when they
had
did that
that.
traditional sound
Yeah, when they had that
that jazz.
descending
It was
bass,
very
and the
stripped down. The
climbing and
boom, boom,
descending.
boom,
Yeah,
boom, boom. It sounded like I pictured someone playing that real, the traditional bass. But then maybe he was strapping on the electric bass, whatever, and he
it
was
could
going
be.
crazy
It
too.
could
So
be.
who
Yeah,
knows? Yeah,
because and you have overdubbed guitars too.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
but yeah. So uh,
yeah.
the
Otherwise,
drummer,
yeah. Go ahead.
the the drummer was Joe Franco. Of course,
Okay,
the bass and guitar, Blue Saraceno.
okay.
This came out in '92 from
That was my next
an
question.
album
Okay.
named Plaid, and I had no idea who this was. I don't know how I stumbled upon it
Yeah.
fairly recently in the last well, maybe within the last 3 or 4 months, and I listened to it. I was like blown away,
Yeah.
and I think that this came out in '92. Now, I probably could have picked any of a number of songs of his to do for this channel, and I just landed on this one, and I was like, okay, this definitely is good enough. Problem I had was it's so short. It's such a short song.
Let's see how good you are, because let's see how good you are, because you know some of the guitarists that I like, love, that I've listened to.
Mhm.
What guitarists that you know that I like that will remind me of this performer, Saraceno?
This is a tough one.
Yeah, I actually you've listened to back when you were living here. You
In New
listened
York.
to a
Yeah.
couple of songs, yeah, and
Is this somebody who I was a fan of too?
no, no, but you listened and you thought it was good, and he was playing with an organist. It was on a CD that I had, and it was him and an organist,
I have no idea, man.
Danny Gatton. Do you remember?
Okay. I know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. Yes,
he
but
reminded me of
he's
Danny
somebody who
Gatton.
I haven't really delved into.
And here's
And
actually,
again, but he's one of the best,
and
right? So,
here's what I thought maybe possibly you were gonna like throw, like you actually had something up your sleeve, um,
mm,
up your sleeve, that maybe this was a band, Blues Saraceno, and you were gonna say, guess who the guitarist is from this band, and
it's
you'll never.
Danny.
And it was Danny Gatton because it sounded like him. It sounded
Yeah, yeah.
because Danny could play the
Oh, I
rock
know, I know.
and he could
He was
play
a
the
virtuoso
jazz
too, right? Yeah,
virtuoso. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. So in '92, so you can just imagine. I bet they probably were like in circuit. They probably I would just think if you're playing that kind of similar sort of music with and so good. This guy was amazing. I mean, on this
yeah,
song,
yeah.
so
Absolutely.
good. And then, but the bass player was like, "Hey, man, you know, yeah, oh yeah, because what? He was the bass player, so he's outdoing himself on
According
the
to the
bass."
information I have,
Okay,
we may be corrected in our
right.
comments, but
So,
as
you
far as
know,
I know,
well, because it's funny, I'm sitting there going, "My God, who's better, the guitarist or the bass player?" Because the bass player was like throwing some
oh
licks in there.
yeah, that was some heavy duty
It
stuff.
was really, and then, and the notes don't tell you that he drummed, right? Because I mean, if he was drumming, then I'm just gonna be like, holy
What
shit.
I'm only looking at the personnel from the whole album,
And this guy Joe
and it
Franco,
says
yeah,
it's Joe Franco on drums. But
okay,
you know, uh, yeah, that's as much as I know. Like I said,
yeah,
I'm going by fairly limited information and just some quick research into this.
yeah.
But
That was just
I mean, these guys, he probably plays drums too, but maybe not on this.
yeah, yeah. No,
So
these
he's probably
guys,
one of those all around musicians.
yeah,
A lot of them are what
yeah.
these professionals are, that they're at
So
least passable on other instruments.
this was just a lot of fun, man. It was 2 minutes and change of just, in fact, the reaction. It was just too quick. I pulled it
Yeah,
back. I pulled
yeah,
it back. I didn't play the whole thing, but I came back to like
yeah.
almost the middle part, or like the last minute and 30 seconds.
I can't blame you there.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't
It was
blame
just
you.
really
Yeah.
good. So yeah, this
I'm
was,
glad you liked it, man. I was blown away like I said, when I first heard this. I was like, where have I been with this? So
yeah, yeah.
I definitely want to look into more of what. I'm just going to retire and just listen to songs. Listen to music. That's for the rest of my life, I think.
But
I got a lot of catching up to do.
but I'm gonna find a Danny Gatton song for you. Yeah, we'll put that in a
No,
list.
I might look into him too.
Yeah, cool,
There's
cool.
all these musicians that I've meant to look into over the years, and you just get caught up listening to whatever else you're listening to. There's just so much to choose from.
I'm gonna butcher his last name, but I believe Danny Gatton actually mentored him when he was a kid. Joe Bona,
Bonamassa,
yeah, Bonamassa, right? Yeah, so
another
he's
great
someone
guitar
who's
player.
basically picked up the torch, from
Oh,
those kind of
okay,
guitarists back in the
okay.
'80s. Like he learned under Danny Gatton, I think others too. And so yeah, so that's
You could definitely do worse than
another
learning under
musician,
him.
yeah,
Yes.
that I'd like to, and we mentioned Joe Satriani a few times too on this
Yeah.
channel, doing
Yeah.
a reaction here,
Yeah.
reaction there.
I saw him play at a Hendrix tribute.
Yeah, we got to get our
Yeah, he's
hands
great.
on one of those songs. One of us has to react to his music and stuff like that,
Yeah.
or we can both do it. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so many great guitarists out there, man. Really, in all different, playing all different kinds, you know,
Hmm.
of music. So yeah, cool. All right, so Chris, this is a great choice, man. Thanks. This is a lot of fun.
Cool. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, and to everyone out there, really hope you enjoyed this reaction. If you did, hit the like button, and if you haven't yet subbed, that'd be pretty cool. Why don't you do so? And that said, we'll see everyone on the next episode of Into the Music.